Hello and welcome back to my channel. We have another pick a card reading for you today with messages meant to reach you on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is why I've chosen the Sea Oracle cards as the cards for you to pick your pile. I've also added some crystals, so we have pile 1, pile 2 and pile 3. Tune in with yourself and see which pile you feel intuitively drawn to. It might be more than one pile, and that's also okay. And then you can use the timestamps in the description box to jump straight to your reading. Enjoy! Hello and welcome, pile number 1. If this is your pile, then this is going to be your reading with your messages meant to reach you on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. You have chosen the amethyst stone and this card. So let's have a look what the message is. Oh, how wonderful. You've got awe. May you see the sublime in the everyday. What a fantastic card and message to come through. In my opinion, awe is one of the best feelings to experience and one we often don't experience enough. So the first message I'm getting for you is to look for awe, to go in search of or to look at the world around you with fresh eyes, with innocent eyes, with eyes that are capable of perceiving the wondrous and magical in what may seem ordinary. Most of my awe moments certainly happened in nature, so spending some time in nature is definitely helpful with this, I think. Let's see what other messages we have coming through for you. Let's start with some oracle cards. Pile number 1. What do they need to know on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? Here we go. We have cat. Cats are very independent, very headstrong animals, and what I believe cats are incredibly good at is setting boundaries. A cat will teach you very quickly what they accept and what they don't accept, and you can't control them. So that's the energy I'm getting from that card. One of self-determination, one of, embodying that spirit of the cat. I mean, cats never beg for love. Cats are not people pleasers generally, quite the opposite. And yet, despite that, or maybe because that, as a cat lover myself, we adore them. Because they're not trying to earn our love or to beg for our love, and yet we do love them very much. So the other message that I'm receiving for you is to be yourself, to not try and make people like you, but wait for the ones that do to come towards you, while being very clear what kind of behavior you accept and what kind of behavior you don't accept. Embody the confidence of a cat in claiming your space, being yourself, and not putting up with anything that you don't like. It's an interesting combination, these two, but I like it very much. Oh, and the cat. Let's see what else we're getting. Pile number 1. What else do they need to know for this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? We have the ring. The ring is a sign of infinity. The ring can also be a sign of commitment. of something going around in circle or something coming full circle. These are the words that are popping into my mind, this kind of full circle. Let's see what else we're getting. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Let's see what the moon cards have to say. And then we're going to get some oracle cards into the mix as well. Pile number 1. What else do they need to know? Right, we have acceptance. There you go. Acceptance with the cat tells me that this is about self-acceptance. And maybe with the awe, it's also time for you to be in awe of yourself, because cats, they have no imposter syndrome. They don't doubt themselves. They think they're incredible and that everyone else should see that too. So yes, I think it's really an invitation to see your own worth, to see your own value, to not just accept that, but to really go a step beyond that, you know, to look for the things in you that are awesome. And to make a commitment to yourself. So in this context, that's how I'm interpreting the ring card. You know, there are people who do these ceremonies where they marry themselves. That's the vibe I'm getting here. You know, there is time for you to make a commitment to yourself. Let's see what the other card is. Darkness. Darkness is a space full of potential in the same way as emptiness. And with the ring and the full circle I've been hearing, I'm wondering if there is some kind of new beginning coming in for you that comes with the opportunity to really have a fresh start for yourself, to reintroduce yourself in a new setting, in a different way. So if you're starting a new job or moving house or anything like that, then I think the message for you is to use that opportunity to reinvent yourself and to really start on that new stage that you're being offered, embodying the spirit of a cat, you know, confident, you know, loving yourself, accepting yourself, knowing your worth, knowing your value, fully committed to yourself. Actually, I've got... No, we're going to save those 2 oracle cards for last. We're going to move on to the tarot cards now. Pile number 1. What else do they need to know on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? I don't think they want to jump, so I'm going to pick the ones that jump at me. I'm going to start with these 4. Let's see. We have the Emperor. Now that is the energy. The Emperor. Confident, capable, sovereign, fully grounded in your own power. We also have Dream. And finality, finality. And by this face I'm seeing here, that is, it's an ending. And again, this goes with this darkness element I've got. And we also have desire. Okay, so for some of you, I think there could be an ending of a relationship, which is the darkness, the new beginning, you know, that we've talked about, that gives you this opportunity to really make a commitment to yourself rather than someone else, and to start that new chapter of your life, embodying the confidence and self-love of a cat, self-acceptance, but also really seeing your own awesomeness. We also have dream here, and I'm wondering how this fits in. The dream could also fit with the desire. You know, there is something that you are wishing for, but you've got a finalité in the middle of those. Maybe something you hoped for didn't work out. And there is some darkness and a feeling of loss, a feeling of grief, therefore. But if that's the case for you, Spirit wants you to know that it's a blessing in disguise, because this will really give you the opportunity to come into your own power. That's the message I'm getting for you. Let's see some last messages from the Oracle cards for pile number 1. What do they need to know? Okay, under this full moon lunar eclipse, failure. Okay, so this is just confirming what I just talked about. So something didn't work out, something you wanted, something you dreamed about, and it feels like failure. But what Spirit wants you to know is that it's not a failure. You know, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't work out. And I've actually read a lovely thing about that a while ago. And I'm going to share that with you, because it said, maybe it's not always about dreams coming true. Maybe it's about becoming the kind of person who goes after them regardless. So if you have, you know, fully invested yourself in something that was a dream, you know, you put all the effort in and it didn't work out, then you're not a failure, because you have been going after your dream, you know, you have been brave enough to do that. And sometimes those things work out, sometimes they don't. And that doesn't diminish what you've put in to try and make it happen. You know, it's still an essential part of your path that happened for a reason. And while you may find yourself in a phase of darkness, which is always the place where things end and new things begin, Spirit really wants you to know that you will have a kind of rebirth from that place where you will feel truly empowered, truly grounded within yourself, confident, committed to yourself, and being able to see your own worth and your own value. Right. I've got one last message for you, one last set of oracle cards. Pile number 1. What is the last message they need to hear? Oh, they're so big, these cards, I can hardly grab them. Okay, this one I feel for you. Big, bold vision. Okay. And I think this is also a reminder that just because this didn't work out does not mean that you should stop dreaming. Not at all. This is not a message to say, oh, see, you know, you're a dreamer, you shouldn't have done that, you should have stayed sensible and reasonable, all that. No, that's not what the message from this experience is. You know, you keep holding the vision, you know, you keep following what your intuition is guiding you towards, and trust your own instinct. And this is the last message from Spirit that I'm going to leave you with, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Hello and welcome, pile number 2. If this is your pile, then this is going to be your reading for this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So you've chosen the opalite, and let's see what your card is saying. Resilient. May your soul weather the storms. Okay, so this card gives me a feeling that under this full moon, your life may be, there might be some upheaval, there might be some change, some chaos, some challenge, something that requires you to be resilient. It says, may your soul weather the storm. So I do feel like there are some storms happening in your life under this full moon. And you're being reminded, you know, that these things help us build our resilience, and that you are resilient enough to weather those storms. Let's see what other messages we are getting from the oracle cards. Pile number 2. Okay, I feel like this one for sure. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm really mixed this up well. This is the same card that came out for pile number 1. I'm going to take this one as well. Love. Okay. So the cat came out in pile number 1, and I feel exactly the same energy from it for you, especially with having love next to it. This is a reminder through this time that the answer to be resilient, to face those storms that may be occurring in your life under this full moon, is to love yourself, to respect yourself. Cats have no imposter syndrome. Cats don't doubt themselves. Cats think they're fabulous, and that everyone should think they're fabulous too. They're not people pleasers. They're not trying to please, to beg, or anything. They're just being themselves. And somehow everyone around them just falls in love with them and does their bidding. So this is the spirit, the energy you're being asked to embody. You know, have the confidence and self-love of a cat. That's what I'm getting for you. Let's see what other messages we're getting. Pile number 2. What else do they need to know? That's too many. Under this full moon lunar eclipse. Okay. The womb and the stone. Now they're kind of almost contradictory energies, I would say. The womb to me is a kind of refuge, a place where we feel safe, sheltered, protected, and loved. And then there's the stone, you know, hard. It makes me, the expression comes into my head of between a rock and a hard place. So again, and there's lots of rocks in that picture as well, lots of stones, you know, with the resilience. So the message is that you are meant to weather those storms, to face this situation of where you may feel stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the loving embrace of your own love, you know, to create this womb experience for yourself, to create a safe space, a loving space, to really have your own back, you know, to mother yourself, to nurture yourself. This is the message that's coming through quite clearly, you know, whatever the issue is or the problem is, and whatever things you might feel like you need to do to fix it, and there may well be practical things you have to do to deal with it. The main energy you're being asked to embody is to love yourself, to nurture yourself, to care for yourself, to have your back, to create a safe space for yourself through this clearly quite challenging period. Let's get one more oracle card before we then go on to the tarot cards. We have super moon and attraction. I think all the next full moons are going to be super moon, which are very close to the earth and therefore appear a lot bigger than usually. I'm going to see what the other cards say before I'm reading anything into this card. Let's see. What else does pile number 2 need to know on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? These cards don't tend to jump much, so I shall pull the ones that stick out to me. Okay, I'm going to start with these 5. So, what do we have? Judgment. There's definitely something about what's happening to you right now being the result of previous causes and conditions, almost like karma. So the good news about that is, because karma is not about laying blame and saying, oh, it's your own fault, you caused this. This is not how it works. Karma is simply cause and effect. You know, if I hit the wall, it's gonna hurt. It's like that. You know, the wall is not trying to punish you. But the nice thing about it is also that when negative karma rises to the surface, it means that, you know, it's cleared, because it's not going to come again. So whatever you are experiencing right now, and I don't know if you believe in karma or not, or whether you find it helpful or not, but I think the message is really to try not to feel hard done by, or feel like it's unjust, or, you know, to kind of dwell on those kinds of feelings of poor me, but to, you know, just accept that this is happening and that it will pass and that things will change again. You know, just let it take its course. I think that is the best strategy for you, alongside that self-love we've already talked about. You know, like, try and drop the resistance and just think, okay, this is happening for whatever reason, if you don't believe in karma, and I'm just gonna let it happen and move on. Intuition. Well, what is your intuition telling you about this? We also have Fuit, which I'm not 100% sure I remember what it means. I'm going to have to look that up in a second. Partage, which is sharing, and union. I think this is exhaustion. It's how I'm reading it from the picture, and I'm thinking that's what I remember. So excuse me if it's not the perfect translation of the French word, but every card at the end of the day is an intuitive reading, and every card reader will read them differently. And I very much trust that whatever feeling I'm getting from a card at that moment is what the cards are trying to tell me. So the invitation is definitely to trust your intuition on this. And these two, they are both about people supporting each other, coming together, community. And I think this is a message to say you're not alone in this. You might feel like you have to carry this burden all by yourself, and you're exhausted from it. And the invitation is to share it with someone else, you know, to ask for help and support, and the reassurance that actually you're not alone. There are people around you that can support you and want to support you. Let's get some final messages for you. Pile number 2, what else do they need to know? Purpose. I know what I'm here to do. This is an interesting one. It makes me feel like, and I think that's where the intuition comes in, I think the challenge you're going through right now will clarify what you are here to do. If you follow your intuition through this and drop the resistance, I think there's a lesson in here that will bring great clarity for your way forward, for your purpose. And there will also be some clarity and some revelation around attraction, around how you may have contributed to creating the causes and conditions to attract the challenge you're currently experiencing, but also how in the future you could attract things that you actually want to attract into your life. So my recommendation to you is that under this full moon, to wrap yourself up in your own love, your own sweet energy, to ask for support, to share what you're going through with people you trust, with your tribe, you know, your close ones. You're not alone in this. You don't have to suffer in silence and alone. But to also take some time to really tune into your intuition. You know, when you're in that safe womb you're creating for yourself, try and listen to the lesson in this and try and see if there is some clarity that's emerging from all this for you. We've got one last card, pile number 2. Here we go. Pandora's gift. Oh, this is perfect, isn't it? Pandora's gift is about giving up shame. This card has come out in the past, but what I love about it in the context of the reading so far is, obviously we all know about the story of Pandora's box, that only bad things emerge from, but we're talking about Pandora's gift, and I think this is referring exactly to this lesson you could learn from it. While it might feel like at the moment that, you know, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, there's terrible things happening, very unpleasant, making you feel exhausted, there's a gift in all this that you will be able to see if you tune in with your intuition. There is a gift hidden amongst all the bad stuff that's currently happening. And Spirit wants you to pay attention to it, to try and find the gift, because it will clarify to you what your purpose is, what you are here to do. That's all I've got for you. I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely full moon, and to see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome, pile number 3. If this is your pile, then this is going to be your reading with your messages meant to reach you under this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So you've chosen the Labradorite and this card. So let's see what we're getting. Hope. May the horizon always sustain you. This makes me feel 2 things. One is that maybe you're going through quite a difficult time and Spirit wants you to remain hopeful. But it could also mean that you're currently in a stage of your life where there's a lot of interesting stuff happening at the horizon. Maybe you've got some really exciting plans, dreams, ideas that you're trying to follow. And Spirit wants to encourage you to trust in those dreams and ideas and to feel hopeful when you think about them, rather than to be filled with doubt and fear. So depending on your situation, one of those 2 may resonate, but we're going to get some more cards to see what else is coming through for you. Pile number 3. What else do they need to know on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? I feel this one. Solitude. Okay, so to me solitude is not a negative card whatsoever, or a negative thing. Quite the opposite. It's in solitude that we can hear our own intuition, our own guidance best, where we can make friends with ourselves, where we can drown out the incessant noise from the outside world and from society and people who want to tell us who we are and what we should do. and we're able to, you know, hear our own internal guidance again. And I think that's the message that wants to come through for you, and that relates to what I said as the second option with this hope card. So if you have dreams, if you have something on the horizon that really excites you, but maybe a bit of a dream that might not seem reasonable or sensible to other people, you are encouraged to protect that little plant of a dream from negative influences from the outside world, and to spend time with yourself to really make sure that your own internal guidance system works well and that you can hear it loud and clear. Because that is what's going to get you there ultimately. So it's important to spend time with yourself and not get distracted by other people and their views at this time, especially when it's still, you know, in its infant stages, and when it's a new project, a new dream, and you haven't thought it through yet, and you don't need to at this stage, you know. But what is important is that within yourself, you know, it feels right. You know, you've got hope. You believe in your own dream. That's the stage that's important right now. What else does pile number 3 need to know? Okay, we've got the ring. This card also came out in another pile, in pile 1, I believe. The ring in your reading definitely means commitment. Spirit wants you to be the person that fully commits to your own dream or dreams before you share it with anyone else, before you seek guidance from others. You know, it sounds like it's really important for you to spend that time to hear yourself clearly, because, you know, sometimes we might walk around with a dream inside of us, or a wish or a desire for a long time, for years sometimes, because we're not listening to it properly, or we might hear it but it scares us, so we push it away again. And I feel like you're at a place where you know what that dream is. You know what this is referring to, and Spirit is coming through to say, if you want to proceed with this, then it's important that you spend time with your dream on your own to, you know, strengthen that link, and then to make a commitment to that dream. Let's see what else we are getting before we're going to move on to the tarot cards. Okay, we've got the path. Oh, we've got 3. Will and beauty. Oh, I love these cards for you. Yes, once you commit to your dream, once you're clear with yourself, that's what you want, you know, once you've got the foundation laid down, the visioning part done, then it's time to think about the path, the concrete steps you're going to take to move towards that dream. And for that, you will need some willpower, you know, because these things tend to not get served to us on a silver platter while we're comfortably lying on the sofa watching telly. You know, you need to put some effort in, of course, to make it happen. But rest assured that the effort you're putting in will be rewarded. And there's also something so beautiful about someone, you know, listening to their own dream, committing to their own dream, and working towards it. And I'm going to repeat something I said, I don't know if it was group 1 or group 2, but it's just as relevant to this group. It's something I've read a while ago about following dreams. And the sentence goes, maybe it's not always about dreams coming true. Maybe it's about becoming the kind of person who will follow their dream regardless. So, and that's the message I'm getting for you here. It's actually not even about what's going to happen. The path itself and the person you're going to become through that process is what really matters, is what's really important. Right, let's move on to the tarot cards. Pile 3. What do they need to know on this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces? I'm gonna, oh, there we go. Wow. Okay, let me make some sense. First we have lâcher prise, which means letting go. Let go of any doubts, let go of any, you know, oh, is this reasonable, is this sensible? Nope. You know, we're talking about dreams. In their creation stage, they're never sensible, they never make sense, we never quite know how to do it, and that's exactly how they're meant to be at this stage. You know, you don't have to have it all figured out just because you're dreaming of something. At some point, yes, you know, you need to think about the concrete steps, but at this stage you're at, it's important that you believe in your dream and you make a commitment to it, and that you let go of any naysayers in your environment, protect yourself from them, and also any internal doubts that you're holding. And this card that jumped out, Destiny. You're meant to do this. It's really important for you to do this. We also have communication, harvest, and connection. I'm not sure where to place this. Let me just move this along a bit. Okay, you can still see that. Okay, connection. The harvest again tells me that you will be successful. You know, I think your dreams will ripen to a fruit you'll be able to pick one day. So that's reassurance as well from Spirit, you know, despite what I said earlier, you know, that it doesn't always matter whether or not we are successful in making our dreams come true. Spirit wants you to remind you that, yeah, but there's actually a very good chance that it's going to come true. It's worth putting the effort in. And then we've got communication and connection. And I think because this person is kind of whispering almost, it's again a reminder. Think about who the people in your environment are that will be allies and cheerleaders, who will get it, who will support you, who will provide the network you need to move forward. And maybe you haven't found them yet, but then it's a message from Spirit to say they will appear along the way. So yes, choose your allies, you know, don't talk to people who will just be critical and discourage you and see all the problems. You know, find your tribe, find people that you connect with and people that connect with your dream, who get it, people who've done similar things. You know, don't ask someone for the way if they've never been there, is what I'm saying. You know, don't ask people who have never followed their dreams for advice on how to follow yours. That's the message that's coming through from here. You know, those people are out there and you need to find them, and they will be the ones that will support you in making your dreams come true. Right, let's get some final messages for you. Pile number 3. What else do they need to know? Grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Okay, the message I'm getting from this is that in order to achieve your dream, it looks like there's something you need to let go of. And that might be difficult for you because it's something you don't really want to let go of. But you've got letting go here as well. You know, it's something you need to let go of in order to move forward And Spirit wants to acknowledge that it's going to be hard for you, that it's something you're going to grieve, but they say, you know, you need to let it go. You won't be able to move forward otherwise. Right, one last card for you, pile number 3. What else do they need to know? Ooh. After the storm. Wow. What a beautiful last card for you. I've actually decided to post the video and get out the book because I felt like there's something there for you, and there is, and I'm going to read it to you in a minute. But this card, I feel, is connected to this. So the card is telling you that, you know, there might be a storm coming in your life in order for you to let go of certain things that don't serve you anymore. And it's necessary for you in order to do what you want to do next, to follow that dream of yours. And I'm going to read to you this little kind of poem that comes with the card. So it goes. Storms so wild, storms of grace, I call your blessing into my heart now. May I release and let go. May I be revitalized and grow. I open up my heart to you now. Storms of grace, I stand my ground as I allow your magic to cleanse and surround. Any outgrown energy which I no longer need, anything which will sap or deplete rather than feed. Storms of grace, merciful earth, with your help I experience rebirth. I shall leave you with this as your last message. Have a lovely full moon, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.